Hey everyone, got a question. Who was the 12th apostle? Was it a Matthias or Paul? Some people say that Paul's a fake and he didn't reach the requirements and stuff, and you know, Matthias is the 12th. Paul's a fake, and then some people say that Paul was an apostle. He was the 13th. Excuse me. But anyways, we're gonna look here and go through some verses here, beginning at Acts 1:21, verse 22. Here's the requirements to be apostle. Wherefore, of those men which have company with us all the time that the Lord Jesus went in and out among us, verse 22, beginning from the baptism of John unto that day that he was taken up from us, must be ordained to be a witness with us of his resurrection. So, you have to know Jesus, you got to be around them, be a witness of the resurrection. And people say, well, see, Paul didn't know Jesus. But it doesn't, technically, the Bible doesn't say that Paul met Jesus during his earthly ministry, but it also doesn't say he did it. Remember, Paul was a Pharisee. He studied under a Pharisee, a Sanhedrin named Gabriel, a very respected teacher and doctrine of the law. And these Pharisees, were around Jesus. Paul was a Pharisee. So Paul easily could have met Jesus and talked to him. It doesn't say that it happened, but it doesn't say it didn't happen either. And if you look at the Bible here, in Acts 125 and 126, it only mentions Matthias at one time. Okay? And of course, Paul's all mentioned all through the New Testament. 13 books, maybe more. Let's look at it here. Acts 125, verse 26, that he may take part of this ministry and apostleship from which Judas fell by transgression, that he might go to his own place. Verse 26, and they gave forth their lots, and the lot fell on Matthias, and he was numbered with the 11 apostles. And people say, see, he's the 12th. Okay, let's look at it this way. Just because, I went out with some missionaries on a street preaching doesn't exactly make me a missionary. In my old church days, I did that. That mission conference, well, we all went street preaching and did some street work, doesn't make me a real missionary. Yeah, involved with the ministry there at night. but it doesn't make me an official missionary, like, a real missionary going out to Vietnam or Africa or, North Korea, someplace like that. So, back to these requirements, you had to be around Jesus, you had to know him, and be a witness of the resurrection. Well, when Jesus comes back, there was 500 witnesses, probably more. So you don't think Paul and some of his buddies could have seen that? People like all over say, hey, Jesus rose again from the great third day, like he said, and people went out, Just saying, just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Paul's just the exception. Maybe he is the 13th or 14th apostle. I don't know. Some say he's like, there's another apostle, 13. I'm not going to get into that, but he's like the 14th or something. But anyways, going to Acts, I'll look up my notes. Acts 9, 15 and 16. Let's look here. Talk about Paul. Acts 9, verse 15 and 16. But the Lord said unto him, Go thy way, for he is a chosen vessel unto me, to bear my name before the Gentiles and kings and the children of Israel. For I will show him how great things he must suffer for my name's sakes. So Paul's a chosen vessel. He's on his way to Damascus. He sees a light. You guys know the story. And Jesus talks to him and says, you're a chosen vessel. He didn't say Messiah was a chosen vessel. So that's the word of Jesus Christ, and I believe the word of Jesus Christ. Also, go to Titus 1:1. Says, so the people who say that Paul's not an apostle, Titus 1:1 says, Paul, a servant of God and an apostle of Jesus Christ, according to the faith of God's elect and the knowledge of the truth, which is after godliness. So right there, says he's ordained from God. I mean, what do you say to that? People say, well, Paul's not a real apostle. Excuse me. Throat's a little dry today. Also, Ephesians says that Paul was given the dispensation of the gospel. 2 Timothy 2:1 verses 11. According to the gracious gospel of the blessed God, which was committed to my trust. Paul was an apostle, folks. I mean, whether he was a 12 or 13, whatever. But in my opinion, I think he was the 12. Just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. You can put in the comments. I mean, I'm a big boy. If you don't agree, respectfully, you can put something in the comments. I don't care, or you agree, whatever. But maybe I'm wrong, but I think Paul was the 12th apostle. So you might ask, well, what do you think about Messias? Well, I think he filled in the ministry. But you can look them verses up, King James Bible. So that'd be it. Thank you very much for watching. Remember, if you're not saved, cry out to God. Ask him to save you. Believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, please. Thank you for watching.